recording, and this is the Joint Venture Fast Track Networking webinar. Sorry, Joint Venture Fast Track JV Preparedness webinar for, what's today's date?
Everyone.
7/25. Hey, Yoav, how are you?
Good. Sorry I came on late. Had a bit of a problem connecting.
Oh, okay. Is everything okay in Tel Aviv?
For now, yes, but you'll hear in real time if we have an alarm.
Yeah, it's scary. Okay, well, stay safe. Safety first. So, Naomi and Nick are here with us, and I believe we have a few more people who are trying to, oh, here's Laura, trying to make their way. And the point of today's workshop is to take a look at your businesses and the joint venture offers you're trying to prepare, and to get some expert feedback and masterminding from the group about where the opportunities lie, how you might approach people, and how we're going to go from there. So who might like to go first? Raise your hand if you'd like to go first.
I'm happy to go now.
Is that Naomi?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 4 a.m. in New Zealand right now, so you'll be getting my best thinking for this time of day.
Okay. That's very good. That's it. Naomi, do you want to talk about your Life After Pain site, or are you going to talk about something else?
Yeah, no, Life After Pain.
Okay. So why don't you walk us through where you are in the business and what you're trying to accomplish and how you think joint ventures might fit in?
Sure. So we're a company that sell educational products to people with muscle pain. Specifically some courses showing people how to treat trigger points, dry needling, improved posture, nutrition, stress reduction, that kind of thing. And we're also certified to provide continuing education for massage therapists in the USA. So people doing our course can get continuing education points. And I guess at the moment, at JV partner, we're looking for ways to get wider distribution for our courses. So potentially somebody who serves the massage therapy market, or people who are in the more self-treatment for pain relief market. Recently we did a bunch of surveys, and it became clear that our audience is probably 30% professionals and 70% self-treatment. And there are also quite a lot an older demographic.
Which one was the 70%?
70% is self-treatment.
Okay.
And it's very much an older demographic, sort of 50 plus. Had some wonderful replies back from 90-year-olds who go to rock concerts and are mountain guide. Well, maybe 80-year-olds who are into mountain guiding. So, and they're very much a group that are very independent and want to take their health into their own hands. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Probably just wider distribution and partnering in that way.
Very interesting. Okay. And you were hoping to find joint ventures to do what?
Perhaps people who would be willing to be affiliate sales resellers of our courses, or also, I mean, somebody who had a really good product that we could also market to our audience.
Okay.
In the health field, yeah.
Or other products which could be marketed to the list. And how big is your list?
It's a bit over 50,000. I would say about 40-something of those are really active, but yeah.
You know, you shouldn't be apologizing for that. That's a fairly strong active list. How many buyers do you have?
A bit over 2,000.
2,000 buyers. Okay. And what's the structure of the offer? What's the typical thing that you would sell? How much does it cost, and what do you sell after that? And
Um, well, our main course is a course on how to treat trigger points, and at the moment we're selling it for around 147. And
it's an information product.
Yeah, information product. It's information. You get DVDs sent out to you plus a digital component as well.
Okay.
And then we have some other courses. They're more around the $47 to $77 mark that we sell on the back end, and a continuity product. We're just testing around $27 a month at the moment. And so, what was the other part of the question?
Well, I'm trying to understand. The reason I'm asking you this is I want to understand what your funnel is like and what it is we might be able to offer to a joint venture partner.
Right. Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the conversion. Like where are you getting your traffic, and how much is it costing you? How much is the conversion? If there's anything that's confidential that you don't want to share, please push back.
Yeah, no, that's no worries. So advertise on Google and Bing,
Okay.
and with the natural search traffic. I'm not sure of the exact breakdown. I could have a look in analytics right now for natural versus search traffic.
Oh, so you also have a lot of organic traffic coming in?
It used to be more. After Google's latest updates and whatnot, it's let me have a look.
It's the problem with an SEO, in
Yeah.
your business. Yeah, sure.
So it's about 30% paid and organic, and then direct as well. So yeah, about an equal number of paid and organic.
Oh, okay, so about 50-50?
Yeah. Yeah, that's taken into account referrals just from other sites and direct traffic of people who've come in off our email list to the site, that kind of thing.
And what's the cost per acquisition? How much does it cost you to sell how much you spend in advertising to sell the Trigger Point course?
Okay, so in AdWords, leads are about $1 a click.
Okay.
And the funnel that we're running at the moment converts at around 1.5%. So I'm going to try and do the maths now. No, I'm not going to try and do the maths.
No. You just divide. So how many clicks does it take to get a sale? 100 divided by 0.015. That can't be right.
I mean, a dollar a lead. And
What am I doing wrong? How many clicks does it take to get a sale at 100 divided by 1.5? So it takes you 67 clicks to get a sale. So then your cost per sale is $67.
okay, good. Thank you.
And what are your cost of goods are minimal, probably about $10, right?
Absolute. You mean the cheapest product that we sell, or?
What if I buy a Trigger Point product from you? How much does it cost you to get it to my door?
Yeah, around $12, $15 if you're in the US, and probably around $20 if you're outside the US.
So let's make a $15 cost per sale. So it's right now it's costing you. Do you charge shipping? Do you charge the shipping?
It's included. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just yeah.
Okay, so it's costing you about, let's say it's costing you $85 to get a customer and get the product at their door, right?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so you don't have a ridiculously high margin on that, but your cost of goods is only about 10%. So are you open to paying a 50% affiliate commission?
Yeah, that's what we've got at the moment. So.
Oh, you're already doing this?
I mean, yeah, like I use Infusionsoft, and that has an affiliate program built into it, but I just haven't really done much to develop it apart from, make some banners and links available to people who sign up, but I haven't really pushed it. So,
do you have?
I mean,
so do you have you had any successful joint ventures? It's okay if you haven't.
not no. I mean, not widely. I mean, we've promoted a course on yoga. We haven't had any joint venture partners really promoting our stuff as yet.
But you successfully promoted?
Yeah, this course on trigger point yoga for a lady that I'd interviewed in the past. And yeah, that was fine. I mean, I can't remember the stats off the top of my head, but definitely people from our list bought it and enjoyed it. That's the main one at the moment. And at the moment, we're just promoting a summit on detox for this other lady that I interviewed. So those are really the main ones. I haven't done anything with anything on any large scale.
So it sounds like your audience is open to alternative treatments, or what? How would you describe the audience? If they're buying yoga and detoxification summit and they're buying trigger points, then they're going beyond traditional medical approaches. Is that true?
Yeah, they're generally people that have had some kind of pain, like shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, and they've tried the traditional stuff already, and it may not have worked, or it's worked with side effects they don't really want. They generally don't want to be reliant all the time on pain medication.
Got it.
And so they're open to looking for other solutions that will work for them. And they tend to be very, they want to understand and educate themselves and be really involved in their own health.
Okay. Very good. Okay, so have you done anything to locate joint venture partners? Like, do you have like a list of dream partners, or you kind of need our help from scratch with this? Someone's typing in the background, so I will. When you mute everybody, you just unmute me. And Yoav, of course. Go ahead, Naomi. I'm sorry.
I can't say I've got a very good list. No.
Okay. Well, you know what? I mean, here's the good thing. You've got a product that converts profitably, and when you have a product that converts profitably in paid advertising, moving that to joint ventures is usually not that difficult to do, because everybody wants to go the other way. They want to start with a product that hasn't really been converting, and then they want to figure out how they buy advertising for it. And I always tell them, you're going to lose money for a while before you figure that out. But you don't have that problem because you've been running this business, and it sounds like you have some limitations because you don't have a real high-end back-end product, and you're, I would imagine, the search traffic is probably of modest volume because you're looking for very specific keywords. Is that true?
Yeah, that'd be right. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a gigantic business, but it's a profitable business. It's a product. You've got a profitable funnel, and that's really a very good first step for joint venture. So we need to kind of brainstorm, where can Naomi find prospects? Yoav, do you want to jump in at this point? Or want me to keep going?
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts.
Okay.
But I need to ask a question first. So, is your audience comprised of older people? Are they sick?
They tend to be older. Like just from surveys that we've done, the most common age bracket is 55 to 70. 55 to 70.
And are they suffering from any sort of illness in particular, or?
There's a few people with fibromyalgia, but it's generally just they tend to be people who are quite active. They have hobbies that they like to do, that they're getting general aches and pains, and they want to keep doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so Good news is that you have a lot of potential partners.
Okay.
My first, it might sound strange, but my first inclination would go to list owners that cater to golfers.
Okay.
Um, Let me explain. I know it's a bit strange, but it answers your demographics exactly. A lot of older people are playing golf.
Mm-hmm.
I know from experience that golf tends to create back pains and shoulder pains, and people are suffering constantly when they play golf.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very affluent. So
True
they
that, yeah.
easily pay for the training.
Huh. I'd never considered that. But yeah, that's very true. And people often get completely obsessed with golf as well for some reason.
Right, and there are huge, huge lists of golfers, hundreds of thousands of people on lists, and you might hit a home run there.
Cool. Okay.
Going in a totally different direction, maybe people that are suffering from a specific illness or disabled people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the specifics of the training, but we can probably talk to Glenn, and ask him if it's relevant.
Yeah, I can make a connection with Brian Tarian, who runs the Disability Digest. The issue there is that those people tend not to have much money, but it's possible. It's a possibility, and he's a good person to work with.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it will work, but it's worth the just to ask him.
Right.
People with fibromyalgia, it occurs to me that they might be looking for an alternative
Yeah,
way.
we definitely get people with fibromyalgia. Yeah, again, some of them are on a disability, and fibromyalgia is difficult because it's one of those kind of crappy conditions that you can improve things, but you can't. It's very difficult to make it completely go away.
Yeah.
So we get the best results with people who, they have just some sore muscles and they can treat that and then get that better. But it definitely can help, for sure.
So in that case, I would go with the sports category. People, triathletes, marathon runners, swimmers don't usually get a lot of pain, but definitely all the running and the biking.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys, there's big lists.
And they spend money.
And they spend a lot of money, I know. And what you probably can do with each one of those categories is go to a decent sized site and buy advertising, maybe a banner for a month, and see if the traffic converts. That's one of the techniques we discuss in the training. So if you buy a banner on a triathlon site and the traffic converts, then you have a very strong starting position to negotiate a joint venture with the site.
Explain to her why.
Because you've already put your money where your mouth is. So you have a personal relationship. You can explain exactly how much money they're going to make because you have the conversion data. And David Oliver, one of the experts on the recording, uses this technique all the time. And he says, and it makes total sense, that 80% of the time he's able to convert advertising into joint ventures.
I mean, they'll definitely take your call because you're a customer. They see the opportunity to make more money. And you should listen through. You have to remember exactly where that is in the joint venture training. I forget.
No. I think it's on the second recording, but I'm not sure.
Well, we just expect everybody to listen to the product multiple times no matter what. So I guess I'll have to go through. No, I have. Yoav, go on. I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you?
Just one last thing. There's a lot of traffic there. Triathlon, golfers, tennis, a lot of traffic, huge amount of traffic.
You know, Naomi, I've got a couple of things that I've thought of. One is you need something big in your business. You need something like, what would people pay $5,000 to have in this business? Would they come for a personal pain relief retreat or a health immersion of some sort? With a list that size, you should be able to get. Now, I'm just going to guess you're like somewhere in the $100,000 a year range. So I think this. I don't want you to tell me the answer to that, but I'm going to guess that it's somewhere around there. And I'm thinking this would be significant to you. Like if you had even a $3,000 retreat and you marketed it hard and you could get 20 people a year on a list that size maybe to come, that's another $50,000 or $60,000. Figure you're going to net 40 out of that. I mean, that's see, and then if you have something like that and you're starting to work with these joint venture partners, now you have another carrot for them to promote. So that's one thing, is I think you need something bigger in the business to adjust the slack and make it possible, because if you could make a little more per visitor, you're also in a category where it's almost general interest. It's not quite, but it's really almost general interest. You know, and if you're there, you could be buying advertising all over the place. You could be running some tests on Facebook to you know, active, I don't know if gender bias in your list, but you could be advertising to people 55 to 70 years old. Somebody with a
my name is Karen M.
I'm sorry, I can't figure out who that is.
I've been working on my
No, that's not you, is it?
With Glenn P. Davis.
Yo, that was you. Sorry. I muted one of your microphones. I don't know if... Raise your hand if you're having trouble talking. So we're going to have to wind down in just a second, but I think that if you find something a little bigger to market in the business, even if it's a very small take rate, it still serves as a very big carrot for your joint venture partners. I think Yoav's ideas about going after different sports lists are terrific. If anybody here knows someone who has a big tennis or running or biking list, or what else would there be? There aren't really a lot of hiking lists that I know of, but that would be a similar sport where people hurt themselves all the time and have all kinds of aches and pains. I think if you went out and bought a banner on some of the bigger sites, that would be helpful, and then you could use the technique that Yoav was talking about to approach them to become a joint venture partner and convert that advertising into an affiliate relationship. And two other ideas real quick. You have massage therapists, you have professionals on your list. I was thinking you might want to try to get your professionals to retail the product for you. Like if they're...
Okay.
Have you thought of that?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't actually really, thought of just sending them an email or two and going, you know that you can make money by selling our product to your clients. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and you sell them a pack. You might have to send them. I'd start with the buyers and see if that works. You don't have to send them the product, and then the other people you might say, well, you'd have to do it with a select group of people to see if this works. I don't want you to give away what's already making money for you, but you might have to give them a sample of the product and say, why don't you try talking to your customers about this? If it works, we can let you buy it wholesale and you'll make some money, and you sell it in packs of 10 at a time and then 20 at a time, and it'll be smaller volume for any given professional, but if you could get 40 or 50 people doing that, that could be an additional bump in your business.
Yeah,
And
definitely. Cool.
the last thing is you and I might be able to work together with this because we're working with the same demographic. My coaching academy are largely women 50 to 70 who are health concerned, interested in alternative health. So I hadn't really thought about that, but we might be able to send people back and forth. So we should have that discussion.
Cool.
Not right now, but we should. Any questions you have, young lady?
I thought what you said about make it to how close it is to a general interest topic. I found that really interesting. But yeah, no, that's great. Sorry, my brain is just a bit fried right now. Yeah, it's still trying to kick in the brain juice at 4:30 a.m. But no, it's really good. I'll definitely listen back to the recording and yeah. Cheers.
Yeah.
That's some great
Nomi,
advice.
what you'll need to do to make it a general interest product, and this is instructive for anybody who's got a search marketing product that wants to go to a more general interest crowd, is you need to ask yourself, what's the difference between someone who is in pain but had no idea that these alternative methods were available, and so they weren't searching for trigger points, and someone who had already been searching for it. And the difference is you really have to start at square one and educate them about the problems with the more traditional ways of working with pain, and explain to them that there are alternative methodologies and the benefit of trigger points, and you got to sell them on the possibility of trigger points before you sell them on your current funnel the way that it is. So we can talk about that more next time if you want to come on again.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks a lot.
With that, I'm going to try to do 20 minutes apiece for everybody else so that we're on track to end before 2 o'clock. So thanks, Nomi. If anybody wants to contact Nomi, if people want to contact you, where's the best place?
Oh, I guess my email address. NaomiKuttner@gmail.com. It's Naomi, Naomi, Kuttner, KUTTNER @gmail.com.
Is it right on the screen?
Oh, can I do that?
I put it on the screen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, that's perfect.
You can all see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see it.
Terrific.
And
And I believe
what's the website for the product?
lifeafterpain.com.
Oh, sure. Okay, good.
Okay. So we have Diane Gold. Diane wanted to go next, so hey, Diane, you're up. How are you here?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
Fantastic. Okay,
Sure can.
great. All right, so I wanted to say hi to you. Hi, Yoav. Hi, Naomi. And hi, everybody else. Okay, so as of yesterday, I put up the airplane workout on Kindle. It's not quite perfect yet because the photos are too small, but it's there. My first product. So I'm very
Congratulations.
excited. Thank you.
Is it the airplaneworkout.com?
Yeah, it is, but it is but it's the airplaneworkout.com /go. You should put /go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. That's actually anyway. It's on Kindle.
I will get that read for you so I can endorse it next month.
Excellent. That's fantastic. Okay, great. Okay, so I wanted to know. Okay, so I have this book. It's like a $9.95 book, and with that, I'm hoping that people will read it, know who I am. At least I have a product. Mostly, it's so that I can joint venture with people sometime in the future, or that I can give this to people. So right now, I have I'm going to start like an internet little show that's connected with something called theworldstage.net. So yeah, it's WORLDS and then stage.net. It's .net. Yeah, the .com is the event part of it. .net /@peace. /@peace. Okay, so I need a name for the show. So can you go to that link and see? I mean, it's not. I didn't really put it. I didn't put it up. I did pick the photo. I'm going to on August 5th. I'm going to start, and I don't have anyone to interview me, so I'm probably going to interview myself. But which is fine.
You can get someone to interview. I'm sure someone put up a note in the joint venture area. Someone will be happy to interview you, I'm sure.
Yeah, you think so?
Well, why wouldn't they? You return the favor.
Yeah, no, that would be great. Okay, please tell
Diane,
me where...
it's important to do that because in an interview, people want an advocate for the listener, and it won't be clear to you when you're not being clear to the audience.
Absolutely. Oh, I know. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so do you mean just on Facebook?
Put up a link in the joint venture crowd saying you need an interview buddy.
No, is the joint venture crowd that you're talking about the Facebook joint venture crowd?
Joint venture fast track Facebook group.
Okay, no, I thought maybe there was like a forum that I didn't know about. Okay, great. So, what could I do? Okay, so what can the title of this thing be? I thought it was the Health, Wellness, and Peace Report. That's what I thought the title was, but apparently the person who's running this changed it. I'm going to talk about believing that whatever we do for personal development, we can turn into doing things for the planet. In other words, we shouldn't just go meditate or go do Tai Chi or go feel happy about ourselves and then do nothing with that. In other words, once we have that, once we know how to feel happy about ourselves, then it's time to do something with that knowledge and save the world, or at least spread certain things like here are some new therapies, or here are some new things that you can do, or I just read Confessions of an Economic Hitman,
Diane, I'm happy to help you with this for a couple of minutes. I'm a little confused about what it has to do with the joint venture.
Okay, well, Yoav said that I could ask anything that I wanted.
I did.
So that's why I asked it.
This is a very noble pursuit. We can help you for a couple of minutes, sure.
Okay, and then how do I turn this into money? How do I turn a show into money? Can I turn this into money?
Well, you need a funnel to be able to turn any kind of traffic into money, and you could certainly turn a radio show into money if you have. How is this distributed? How do you get the listeners?
That's a great question. The person who's running this has lists, and he sends notices to lists. That's it.
So basically, you're paying for time on his radio station, his internet radio station.
No, I'm not paying for it.
Okay.
No, the world stage is about changing the world. It's about not putting Band-Aids on what's wrong, but it's about making new systems, using new information. Not necessarily using corporate information, not necessarily using the old method of doing things. New methods of doing things.
Okay. Got it. I think this is a wonderful thing that you're doing. I think everything that you do is very noble and wonderful.
Thank you very much.
And we just have some marketing problems. We have some marketing problems.
Right.
So, okay. It's difficult to know how to name this when we don't know strategically who you want to attract.
I'll tell you who I think I want to attract, but I don't know if that's going to make me money. I want to attract people who care about their nutrition, people who care about their health and are dissatisfied or willing to learn about new health. I mean, about integrating all kinds of therapies into their medicine. In other words, as this says, Eastern, Western, music therapy, art therapy, Tai Chi, all acupuncture, all that kind of stuff. And all the things that people have discovered with plant-based nutrition and how it dispels cancer or how some other thing dispels some other disease and how we don't have to take drugs to do it. We can do what we can take wheatgrass to do it.
So first of all, if you acquire a list of people, which means you need a funnel where they're going to opt in so you can follow up with them and market to them. But
So I have to buy a list?
No. No, you need a funnel. You need an offer where people listening to this show are going to want to find out more from you. And if you develop a list like of those kind of people, you could joint venture with someone like Naomi, because Naomi.
I'm already. She's interviewing me for her show. So that's great. Yes.
Right. Well, you could see if you could send the people who are listening to a show, at the end of the audio to a URL like Get Healthy Now, and you had a little pitch that said alternative ways to restore your health and make a difference for the planet at the same time. And there was some special content that they would get that no one else would get. Like maybe it's an extended segment of each interview. Maybe you hold back a piece of the interview, and then they can hear that extended segment when they go there, so the people that are listening want to do that. Then you build a list, and you could find people who you could endorse that you know, love, and trust, and think would take good care of your customers. And you could be making money by mailing to them. You could also be making money if you had things that were consonant yourself to sell. It's not. This is the kind of thing that's not out of the question. I don't want you to do this now because I'm worried about how much traffic you're going to get, and you don't have the funnel in place. But if it were in place, this is not the kind of thing. This is the kind of thing where it's not impossible to make some money with like an MLM health company with ready-to-go products.
I haven't found one that I really believe in, because for me it has to be vegan and organic, and no MLM is that.
I'm with you, sister. I'm with you. So you really want to know how do we name this show?
Yeah.
And Diane's show is not going to do it for you, huh?
No. Well, I have at DianeGold.com a long time ago. A friend said the Diane plan, but no, I'm not. It has to reflect health and wellness, and my focus is doing things that are not going to enhance the corporatocracy. In other words, so it's about peace. It's not about going to the beach and saying peace and love. I have a flower in my hair, although I do that. But it's not about that. It's about doing some action that's going to bring the have-nots to a higher level, or how it's going to make Americans aware that a lot of times in the United States we are going to other countries and making them dependent on us by giving them things up front. We're putting them in debt. So that's not my politics is not really my thing, but that is part of the reason we don't have peace, and part of the reason why people like war, because.
So Diane, I'm going to give you. I understand what you're doing. I understand what you're doing, and I really like it. I'm going to give you the process that we go through to name products and services.
Wonderful.
The first thing is you need to figure out what your point of difference is. I think you kind of know it. You need to figure out what should the ideal name represent. If I were to immediately understand from the name what do you do, what do you do uniquely for what particular audience, you need to kind of have that in mind before you start brainstorming. And
okay, now the health, wellness, and peace report is no good, right? That's too boring.
I don't really know I don't know what the benefit it is from that.
Okay.
I mean, I could guess at names for you, like Get Healthy, Making a Difference, or something like that. But it doesn't. People's initial guesses are usually nowhere near what the right name should be. I mean, we developed the name Nextel and Teddy Grahams, and we've done a lot of professional naming. We go through a process. You figure out what the point of difference is, and then you get everybody to list any names they've already thought of. And then once that's done, you take people through a series of creative exercises. You get a bunch of people who are simpatico with your mission, and you get them on a freeteleconference.com or something call, and you say, okay, I want you to think of the worst possible names you can come up with. Everybody should come up with 10 to 15 of the absolute worst names they can think of, like destroy the world and get cancer.com or something like that, right? And everybody should write the absolute worst names they can think of. And we're not going to use these, but if you wanted to destroy this project out of the gate, what would you do?
Right.
And everybody is 10 or 15, and maybe there are 5 or 6 people in the room, so you've got like 50 or 60 just crazy ideas. And then everybody reads them back one at a time in random order, slowly. And while they're being read back, everybody's supposed to write down good ideas. And that's an example of a creative exercise to get as many good ideas as you can on the table. And then you talk about which good ideas that you like, and you pick some of the best ones, and you can say, okay, if I were to picture 3 doors in front of me and I would walk through each of these doors, what would I see if it was an entirely different scene that, this door kind of took me to a totally different place? What would I see behind those 3 doors? And that will stimulate people's creativity even more. And then you say, okay, now in light of that, let's talk about some more good names. And you write all the good names down. And you spend like an afternoon doing this, and you try to get 500 names on the table. It'll become really, really clear what the best name would be. That's how you do it.
Wow. Right. Can I do it with only 5 people?
Yeah, you could do that with 5 people.
Okay. All right.
Okay, dear. But you need a funnel more than anything else. All these great things that you do.
Right.
You need an offer that starts with here's where I capture your email in exchange for really cool stuff that you can't get anyplace else.
Well, okay, knowing me, what really cool stuff can I give them? I can't give them a Tai Chi lesson, or I could give them a virtual, but no one wants that. What could I give people that they really want?
Oh, I think you're on the right track with the airplane workout. You could maybe give them that. And
okay. I mean, I also have, I have like meditation in 12 steps or something. I mean, no, it's not 12, it's 21 steps.
Ideally, it's something that can't get anywhere else.
Right. Right.
Right, it really distinguishes you.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you need some type of a high-end product, like your coaching services, perhaps. Right. Right?
How do I don't even know how to get people to that page. I don't, and it's not even written up well enough. Yeah.
Well, you could, if you have a carrot in place, like maybe you're going to offer 100% of your first 3 coaching sessions or something.
Right.
That people have an opportunity to make a bunch of money, and you have a decent page. Maybe you can find a joint venture partner that would send you some traffic because they just love what you're doing.
Oh, that's good. Okay, the first 3 coaching sessions, yeah, and they get it. And okay, so it's not. I charge $100 or $200 for each session, but I give it away.
You give it to your joint venture partner.
Yeah. How much should I charge? How much can I charge for me? I mean,
it's difficult for me to say because the amount that you can charge has to do with the strength of your marketing funnel. Right now, unfortunately, it's not very strong.
Right.
Please don't slap me or anything, but it's just not.
No. So where am I getting this funnel? I mean, am I getting it from this show? Am I getting it from the terrible list that I have? I have 200 people out of 2,000 who read what I write every week, but I've never sold them anything. I don't think they want to buy anything. I think I have no list, basically. I mean, there are people. These 200 people really care about what I write, but they're not buyers. I'm just informing them how to live.
Right. You've probably trained them to be freebie seekers.
Probably.
What I would do in your situation is, I think the show is a decent idea. You'll get some people listening and signing up if you have a good opt-in email. And I think you need to build an offer page where you're offering coaching services that are very much aligned with what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I would try to find, if you have no money to buy traffic to test it, then I would try to find a joint venture partner and just make them a ridiculously good offer.
Okay.
Where they're going to get, the 100% of the first 3 sessions, and your whole goal is to build that practice and get some people flowing through this so you can start to do some tests and really develop your funnel. And
Okay.
Once you have some numbers, you'll be able to attract joint venture partners who don't need 100%.
Okay. Do we have a list of everybody who's part of the club by category? Do we have a list? I mean, do we?
The Facebook group has a member section, and people who've chosen to post what they do and whether they're amenable would post it in the main area. And otherwise, we don't have that information.
I'm sorry, we need to move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Diane.
Appreciate it. Okay, take care.
Okay. Very good. So, who's next? Nick, Luke, Laura? Go ahead, Nick. Hi, Nick.
Hello, Glenn and Yoav. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
On the phone. Well, although I do many things, what I usually lead with is helping business owners, professional service providers, and big-ticket B2B salespeople build and market a 5-star online reputation so that people searching for a business like theirs, or for them specifically, will see them as the best and obvious choice and contact them first, ready to do business on their terms at the prices they want to charge.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. What's your site?
My site for this, one of them is 5starreputationmaximizer.com.
The number 5 or FIVE?
Either one should work, but try the number 5. 5starreputationmaximizer.com.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I do this via my 2 books on reputation management and marketing, my 5-star Reputation Maximizer course, my quick fame builder program, customer review hub websites, and posting of video testimonials and other brand building content for clients. My fees run from $4.95 for the 5 SRM course, $17.50 for the quick fame builder program, to $10,000 a month for extreme cases where someone has mugshots that need to be suppressed. So starting with a base of about 500 up until about 10,000, depending on the severity of the case. I've been selling all this direct to end users through local networking groups, referrals I've gotten from clients, and people who find me online. The problem is that unless they have the specific problem, such as bad reviews or mugshots and so forth, people are not aware of or overly concerned about their online reputations. So it's an education issue. Now, once they understand the importance, they usually become open to solving the problem. And so what I'd like to do is to create JV relationships with B2B companies that already have an ongoing relationship with my ideal target market, to do one or all of the following. Set up free teleseminars, webinars, or live workshops for their customers and clients where I would address the marketing-related issues that are keeping them, meaning their customers and clients, up at night. Set up one-to-one telephone consultations with their customers and clients where I address the same thing. And then make my products and services available to their customers and clients and pay them a commission or finder's fee when money changes hands. Now, my thinking is the best way for a B2B company to get their existing customers or clients to buy more often is to help those customers and clients stimulate demand. For example, the primary reason a printing customer would buy more printing is if their business demanded it. They're running low on brochures or menus or order forms and so forth. They're changing a product or service deliverables. They're coming out with a new product or service and so forth. So the best way to stimulate demand for printing is to help the printing company's customers stimulate demand for their products and services. More sales equals more need for printing and more money to pay for it. This is just one example of a potential joint venture partner. Now, does that make sense?
I'm not sure I totally follow the last part.
Okay. Let's say you're a printer. You can hire salespeople to call your customers and bug them, hey, buy more printing, buy more menus, buy more forms. Or you can somehow help that customer stimulate demand for their products and services so they have to buy more brochures, more order forms, and so forth.
Oh, I see. Yes, that makes sense in a business-to-business context.
Yeah, it's B2B. This is B2B. Although I have a lot of B2C people that find me and want to work with me, and I do work with them. It's the B2B business I really want. Okay, so my challenge is finding potential JV partners who get it. Unlike in the IM world, most of the offline world doesn't understand marketing joint ventures. So that's my dilemma. Is what I want to do just too far out of the box for the world of conventional thinkers?
I mean, my intuition says no. My intuition says that. So you would like business-to-business companies that maybe it is. I'm having trouble wrapping my head around it because there are several levels.
Well, let me give you an example of something that that worked sort of.
Okay.
I decided, well, I'm going to see if I can utilize LinkedIn to develop a relationship in a field that I have no experience with, no track record with, and no recognition in, to see if I can create some kind of joint venture relationship. So I went to and joined several self-storage industry groups because I have a friend who's in self-storage. And lo and behold, I started, making some posts, and an association person, executive, found me and said, well, would you like to speak at our conference in San Antonio? And I said, sure. So I went down there and I spoke, and then I went to their trade show exhibit floor, and I found a company that is a publisher. It's an insurance company for the self-storage industry, and they also publish information helpful to the self-storage industry. Well, I had one of my books with me. I gave it to the person. She said, well, this sounds great. So between the trade association and that company, I did 2 webinars for their people. The publishing company ordered a bunch of books from me, not a lot, a couple of hundred, but still that's a nice order. The problem is that I found that people in self-storage are very myopic thinkers, and they're back in 1965 mentally, and they just don't want to do anything, and certainly they don't want to pay any money for it. So although I was successful in my strategy, the end result was, well, this is the wrong target market for me. So that has worked for me, and it was actually well received. I got the highest ratings, or among the highest ratings for my talk at that self-storage convention, but no business. So this is go ahead.
Why is it working then in your local networking events, and what kind of people are getting it?
Well, who's the typical customer?
A typical customer, for example, would be a builder, a high-end luxury builder, luxury home builder, who was arrested for something a couple of years ago and had mugshots at mugshots.com and other places. So that guy wanted to suppress those mugshot listings so that people would not, going to the first or second page of Google and typing in his name, would not see his mugshot, the 3rd listing down. So he was willing to pay substantial money to do that because he's selling multi-million-dollar homes. So, if he gets or loses one deal as a result of his reputation, it's worth it to him. So that's part of the problem, is that people only come to me when they have a problem. They're not trying to be proactive. It's more reactive. And sometimes, in fact, it's probably more like about 75% of the time, the reason people have a bad reputation is because they deserve it. And I start talking with them, and I find out about their business, and I just don't want to help them because I feel that, A, ethically, it's just not the right thing to do, and B, are they going to pay me? If they've screwed all these other people, are they going to do the same to me? All right, so that's part of the problem, is you have to find the people that have some issue that is not, doesn't happen all the time, an isolated incident like the mugshots. Worked with a moving company that had a bad review, a one-star review on Yelp, and if you know anything about Yelp, you know that they, most of the time, and for certain industries, they'll suppress 90% of the reviews, if positive or negative. So you can have 2 or 3 reviews of which there are 1 or 2 stars, and it can ruin your business. Well, what I did for that company was I created what I call a custom review hub, where we beat Yelp at their own game. We created our own review hub. We got reviews from the company, legitimate reviews. We put it up there along with some other things, and we suppressed that Yelp review down to the bottom of the page. So when people logged online, they saw the review hub, they saw some videos and other things we did for this company, right? And that's the kind of business I like, because I can really help them, and it's very profitable for me to do that. And so again, I start with my course, and to kind of introduce people, and they find out, well, this is a lot of work, I better hire Nick to help me. So that the books and the course have led to business as well. The good news is I don't need 100 clients, nor do I want them. I need a dozen. So if I have anywhere from 5 to 10 or so clients a month, I'm fine, because they're paying me anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 a month.
So, Nick, this is not necessarily a joint venture solution. I just want to understand if you've been down this road. If you had an infinite amount of time and energy, could you sit in Google and search for, could you create some kind of algorithm which said, I'm going to search for clients who have mugshots posted or have bad reviews in Yelp, or if you had an infinite amount of time and energy, could we compile a list of 1,000 prospects for you like that?
We could, and I've done that. Not 1,000, but I've done it in the hundreds. And here's what happens. You contact those people, and either they don't care or they deserve it. And let me give you an example of people who don't care. I did that. There's a moving company that's based here in Dallas, or at least they have a large operation here, where they train, not a moving company, a trucking company, where they train people to be truck drivers. This company has a horrible reputation. So I contacted them and said, you've got this reputation on Ripoff Report and Complaints Board and Scam.com, a horrible reputation. And the guy got really defensive. Well, I don't really care, da-da-da-da-da. They don't care. They're just scam artists, and they don't care. That's part of it. I found an accountant who had called me to try and get my business, and I went online and I found they didn't have it. They didn't have a website, but they did have a bad review. And it's like, well, here's what they said. Well, if somebody's going to go and look at our reviews, we don't want to do business with them. I mean, that's the mindset that I'm dealing with. So anyway.
Is there an industry where they don't have the luxury of being of putting you off like that? Like, for example, I'm looking for the best urologist in New England, and I know that I'm searching around, and if I see even one really bad review, I take it very seriously. And I've had a lot of doctors come to me and say, I've got this one person who's got this site up that's saying all these bad things about me, and it's killing me. I'm losing so much business. Where it's like a higher risk decision for the consumer. Is there some industry where you could focus like that, which would eliminate that problem?
Well, I've tried attorneys, and attorneys are a strange breed. They think they know everything, and they usually say, no, I'm all taken care of. In fact, I just had an occasion to utilize an attorney, or find an attorney for a friend of mine, actually, in a family attorney child custody issue. And I went online, and the guy has mediocre reviews. His website looks like it was built in 1995. And I said, people who are referred to you, they're going to go online, and if I didn't trust this other person so much, I wouldn't even have called you, because your reputation is mediocre at best. Your website is way out of date. He just doesn't care. That's part of the problem. The people who do care, like the mugshot guy and the moving company, and several other people that I've helped. A real estate agent had a high-end real estate agent had a bad review up there, and we worked on it, built her a great reputation, and now she's humming along. Part of the other problem with what I do is the mugshot guy, he's not going to go and say, well, yeah, I had all these mugshots up there, and Nick really helped me, and he got rid of the mugshots. He's not going to give me a testimonial for that. So it's almost like you're an attorney-client relationship with these people. When you do help a serious problem, they don't want to admit that they had the problem, so it's very difficult to get a testimonial from them.
Well, okay. So you can overcome that with a stronger guarantee. That's not really the issue. Who were the last 3 clients you had that you liked? They were profitable. You have no objection to working with them.
Chiropractor, a dentist, and a high-end real estate agent that I had the reputation problem, but she's been a 2-year client for me.
That's what I would think. I would think it would be. I think it would be doctors of some sort. I think it would be doctors whose reputation means everything to them.
Yeah. Well, another aspect of this is to contact people who sell to dentists, people who sell to chiropractors. I've tried to go here in Dallas. There's one of the best-known chiropractic colleges, and I've tried to approach them, but they don't care. They're not in the business of helping their graduates succeed. They're in the business of selling education. It's just sad. Okay, and I've approached them. How can I help your people start their practices? Can we do webinars? They don't even have a single course on how to market your practice, but yet they're not open to doing that. I don't know why, but in any event.
Well, but that's it. That's another story. That's another angle than managing your reputation.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about the chiropractor, the dentist, and the real estate agent all started with reputation. And yeah, and it has led into doing many, many other things for them. And basically, I've called them full-service marketing clients that I've had, over a year relationship with each of those 3. I have a guy that's he's a tour guide in Boston, and he wanted to, he had one mostly positive, but one really bad negative, and he wanted me to help him with that, and so I came up with a plan, and he's been over a 1-year client. So the problem is there's no specific industry other than, you would think that medical people, you would think that attorneys, you would think that CPAs would value their reputation and want, because hey, these days, even if I get a referral, I'm going to go online and check that person out, and if I don't see good stuff, I'm going to call somebody else. And that's the problem. They don't believe. Are there any statistics? Is there anywhere that you can prove the lost business and the value of that lost business? Not directly. Indirectly, yes. Indirectly, there are no independent studies that you can dig for. Well, all I can say is, for example, the moving company, they were teetering on going out of business, and then when I fixed the problem for them, they were able to, after a year, they were able to expand into a much larger facility. So what was that costing them? A lot. Because the problem is people don't say, well, I didn't shop here because of a bad reputation. There's no statistics on that. There's statistics about how many people read online reviews, and it's at least 70%, 70-80%, depending on whose research you want to cite. So, people understand that, or people are looking at reviews before they make a purchase. But can you say, well, because they didn't review, because they didn't look at a review, or because they did, they lost the business? There's really no way to track that I know of.
Yoav, do you have thoughts or questions? Mr. Machine?
I think it's more of a marketing problem than a JV problem, by the sound of it.
Yeah.
So I might suggest a course of action, but
Well, does this make sense? I find an enlightened printer, and I've probably gone through at least a dozen printers in the DFW area who are not enlightened. When you ask them what business they're in the printing business, when they should be in the business of helping people facilitate a cause. I want to sell more products and services, and one of the ways I do that is through printing. I want to get elected, and one of the ways I do that is through printing. So you help people achieve an objective through the printed word. You're not just a printer. Printing is what you do, but most printers think they're printers. They don't understand what they really do. So
I think you're barking up the wrong tree with printers.
okay.
It's really a commodity market, and there's not a lot of. I value the reputation of my surgeon a lot more than I value the reputation of a printer. And I think a surgeon will value his reputation a lot more than a printer.
Exactly, but what I'm proposing to do is not necessarily try and help the printer with their reputation. I'm trying to access the printer's customer base using, for example, a webinar on reputation marketing, as I did with those two, with the association and with that insurance company. So accessing their customer or client base and doing a webinar, for example, on reputation marketing. I mean, I can do all kinds of webinars on marketing. I'm picking.
You need proof of the benefit to them before they're going to let you do that. You need to figure out what the benefit to the printer is, and you need to be able to prove that before you're going to get their attention and have them willing to give you access to their customer base.
Okay.
Yeah, so then may I suggest something?
Sure.
Okay, so I would test, I would use, I think your service is very valuable, and I totally get the point that you don't want to work with people that deserve the rotten reputation they got, but you do want to work with people that a couple of bad reviews are ruining their business, and it's a good business otherwise. So what I would do is I would test to see which market responds the best. I would create banners that say specifically that do you have a couple of bad reviews that are ruining your business, or you're ruining your practice, and I would advertise and see which market bites. Spent a little money in the dentist niche, spent a little money in the plastic surgeon niche, a couple of $100 on lawyers, and just see which of the banners drives traffic. And because I think by the sound of it that you're getting tired, you're getting exhausted by trying to speak to each and every customer on the phone. And what you need to do is to build a funnel that does the entire process of getting the lead and weeding out those bad customers, and just getting the best, the exact type of customer you want. So you'll have an advertising at the beginning, and then there'll be some sort of questionnaire that asks them how many bad reviews they have, how many sites those reviews are on, etc., etc., and then you get a list of leads, and you can approach each one, the ones you like, because manually or in person speaking to each of the leads can be brutal, and I understand why you're frustrated.
Yeah, well, here's my thought as far as JVs go, is if medical professionals such as dentists, discretionary spending for the most part, but yet you have a high lifetime value of the patient, anywhere from $3,000 up for a good patient. So they understand, well, many of them don't even understand the lifetime value of a patient, but you explain it to them and they understand that. So if I went to a supplier to dentists who had, and I say, I would like to offer a webinar to your group for free to help them build and market a 5-star online reputation, along with tips if they have any bad reviews of how to get rid of them. And so you sell XYZ product to dental services. Would that help you? Would that help differentiate you from the other people that are selling the same things that aren't doing that?
I think it's not like the Henry Scheins of the world that would pick this up easily. I think it's the gurus who teach dentists how to market their practice who would understand that. They would have the audience more amenable, like Tom Orent, or there's a couple of guys in the Kennedy crowd that market to dentists. I would try to figure out who is the marketing educator for dentists, and then you partner with them to be their reputation arm, and then they can start talking about how important the reputation is for dentists. I think that might work. And I think especially if you have you do have a high-end back-end service and you can give them a big piece of that, I think that might work for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's essentially what I did with these storage things. Is the trade association, part of what they do is educate.
Right, but this, I know, but I'm not sure that I'm not sure that the trade education is the sophisticated marketer that you're looking for.
Okay, I see. In other words, someone who's selling marketing services specifically as opposed to...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, right.
All right, well, that might work. Now, one last question, and that is, how do you recommend handling partner compensation for consulting, training, and mentoring and so forth, when these usually take place on a case-by-case basis for varying fees? So if I have a case like the mugshot guy, I have to go in and I can't just say, well, it's going to be $1,000 a month. I have to go in and actually do an analysis of his position and say, well, yeah, it's going to be $3,000 a month for 3 months.
Right. It's like the agency model I used to do with Perry. I used to pay Perry 20% of fees that we got at Rocket Clicks, and every client was different. They all had a different level of service and amount of setup work, and do we have to do web work and SEO, and yeah. So I would just come up with a percentage that represents something significant. Most services offer 10%, and most services are not successful with joint ventures, so I make it at least 20%. And it might help if you also had an information product. Maybe there's a $200 information product about how to do it yourself, and you give the joint venture partner 100% of that. And that would generate clients for you also, because there'd be people that were watching how to do it themselves, and then they get sick of it and say, "Hey, can you do this for me?"
Yeah. Well, I have the 5-star.
Oh, you do. Oh, that's right. You do. Yeah.
That I can sell for whatever I want. In fact, I've used that. I've sold some of them, but the best way I've utilized it is as a closing tool to get somebody on board with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Nick, we're going to have to move on in just a second.
Right.
I'm sorry if we weren't supremely helpful to you. It's a particularly difficult problem.
Yeah. I mean, you're helpful in terms of helping me rethink, refocus what I want to do here, because maybe this isn't the right angle to approach people with. That's another thing.
I think you need a sophisticated partner, and a sophisticated partner is going to be a marketing junkie just like you.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thank you
so
much.
Nick. Okay. Thanks. Who's next? Oh, Nick, how do we contact you if someone wants to contact you?
They can contact me at Nick at Dalfort, DALFORT, media.
Oh.
No. .com.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, who's next? Raise your hand, please. It would be either Laura or Enrique. If your name is Laura or Enrique and you'd like to raise your hand, or even if you wouldn't, someone has to go next.
I'll go next.
Okay, very good. Yo, did you say something?
Yeah, I said I can go next if you...
You want to go next? Oh, okay. Okay, if nobody's raising their hand, we could end early for the day. Nobody wants to go?
So, Enrique wanted to speak, didn't you?
Enrique, did you want to talk about something?
Hello, Enrique.
Okay. We had a couple of tough problems today.
He's muted.
You need to unmute yourself, Enrique.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now we can, sure.
Okay. Well, I'm just a beginner, a very rookie guy who is trying to learn how to market, how to be an entrepreneur. So I cannot have any input for you guys. I'm more like I'm a student.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. Is there an area that you're looking at? Something that intrigues you more than others to sell?
Well, I'm following you, Glenn, because I think that I like to research, and I'm fascinated with your method of surveying and learning what people would like to have, so you can produce a product that they will love it. And so I'm starting from scratch. I'm looking to open the market for organization tools like small boxes or closet organizers and things like that. So I'm beginning to research that market. So I will build a lead magnet to attract people, give it for free in exchange for a survey, and make the survey that you recommend.
That's a very interesting space. That's kind of like now are you considering that you might like to provide the widgets that help people to organize their closets, or you're thinking you might want to provide the service? Like, in New York City, there were these companies that promised they could double your closet space. And they weren't inexpensive either. And they'd come in and they had all sorts of widgets and opportunities to install in your closet to show you how you could get more suits in there and more shelf space, and then they'd color code them for you. It was pretty cool. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, I'm still on the stage of I don't know what type of services I should give. So first, I need to research the market to see if you are just looking for like a simple Rolodex to organize your business cards, or perhaps having a better desk where you can have a better organization of all your papers in your desk, or perhaps even a storage warehouse. I don't know. I'm looking for start from zero, research the market, research the niche that are there, and know exactly what people want, and then develop the products.
Well, that's
I am also looking for the betta fish market and mimic.
I'm sorry. What market? Better fish?
Yeah, the betta fish.
I don't know what Better Fish Market is.
I don't know either. It's,
Better, say it in Spanish.
it's the same. It's beta, los peces beta.
Los pesos mejor?
The Siamese fighting fish.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sorry about my English.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So Siamese fighting fish enthusiast, that would be the market.
I have the same problem with English.
I'm like trying to mimic your the thing you did with guinea pigs,
Yes.
but with betta fish. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish.
Interesting.
So
You're at the research stage or just studying the market right now?
yeah, I'm in zero. Like in zero, I'm starting to think about the free product I could give, so I can attract people to answer a survey and find out what they want,
Mm-hmm.
and from that make the product and build the funnel.
And are you working
And,
in the English market, English-speaking market, or in the Spanish market?
Well, I'm for the I'm especially thinking on the Spanish speaking market, but later on, if I can expand to the English speaking or the German, because I speak also a little bit of German, and the French market, I will.
So for the audience's benefit, when you have these product listing ads, with their actual pictures of the products with prices on them, it's harder to get click-through on anything else. So when you're in a market where people are buying a very specific thing, if you don't, if you don't go through Google's Merchant Center and create that very specific thing for sale with pictures and prices, it gets hard to get paid traffic in AdWords, because when the search is so purchase-oriented, the user just goes right to these things where they can actually see the product and see the price. And I actually got involved in a very big project for Novartis last year, and we had a big problem because these ads were interfering with our traffic, and that's how I learned that the hard way. But you can get traffic elsewhere. You could probably do this on Bing and probably get some organic traffic, and you could do joint ventures to work with other fish enthusiasts. So that's okay. That's okay. But you should not be planning a pure Google play, because the traffic will be pretty expensive if you're able to get it.
Yeah, I imagine. Yes.
But you want to build an information product about the Siamese fighting fish? Or would you like to sell the actual fish?
Well, I'm more inclined to actually selling all the stuff that goes around the fish.
Oh, that's
like
good.
The tanks and the gravel and the pumps and the filters and all that stuff. Also make an informational product that will be the lead magnet. The first thing that the people will receive for free in exchange for a survey, answering a survey.
Yeah, that's getting harder to do in Google these days anyway. You can still do it in Bing, and you could still drive people from enthusiast forums and things like that, but it's getting harder to do in Google. They just don't really like that anymore.
Okay.
And what your business model might be finding like a low-end product like this to get the customer and like sacrificing all your margin just to break even so that you have the buyer on your list, and then you can survey those people, and you can develop information products and other things to sell them from that. So I'm actually glad you spoke up about this, because I need to update the Hyper-Responsive Club to reflect some of what's going on in Google. I mean, I've already told people that it's hard to survey Google, but with these product listing ads, it's getting to be whether the business model is changing a little bit, and if you're in one of these markets with a lot of product listing ads, then you have to go in with a product. You can't really go in straight away with an information product. So I'm glad we got to talk about that a little bit today.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Enrique, if people want to contact you with any ideas, how do they reach you?
Okay, I'm going to write it. Yes.
Okay, you can put it in the chat?
Yeah.
And Diane Gold corrected me and said it was beta fish.
Yeah,
okay.
That's correct. Beta fish, yes.
Okay, so it's... You're in Mexico?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Whenever you want to come down here, you are
Someday I might take you up on that. But
you will be welcome and be my host. Mi casa es su casa.
Oh, gracias. Que tenga una buena tarde.
Gracias.
Okay. So now we have Laura. Laura, did you have something you wanted to talk about today?
Hi. I wasn't planning to speak today, Glenn. Are you hearing me?
I am hearing you.
Well, cool. This is very great. So since we spoke at the last webinar, and I have lined up a live workshop with the Ontario Early Years Centre, and I've been working on repurposing my sales page into some landing pages for the book. One that's going to be free through them, and one that's a $7 kind of opt-in kind of special thing. Yeah, and that's what I've been doing since we met, but I don't have any specific questions for you.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. That's nice. That's a nice update. I appreciate being updated on the facts. How did you line up that workshop for everybody's benefit?
I went online and I looked at the early years centers, and I made some calls to local ones and see who would want to do something PDQ.
And was there any resistance that you encountered?
I think resistance was in the form of not hearing back, but no, it was very positive. In fact, the one that I am working with, we haven't even had the workshop yet, and she's offering me paid conferences and stuff like that.
So Laura, I know this all seems like second nature to you, but to most of the group who were kind of getting started with these things, a lot of the steps you took to put that together really aren't obvious to them, and I'm wondering if you'd kind of mind, like, how did you come up with a list of people to talk to, and when people didn't call you back, what did you do, and what specifically did you say on the phone, and how did you manage your emotional state as you went through that? Could you just talk about that a little bit, just a little bit?
Sure. If I forget some of the questions, please redirect me.
Firing them at you like a machine gun. Go ahead.
The first thing I did was I had previously encountered the Ontario Early Years Centre, and when I formed my parent coaching product, then I thought, oh, this is a really great place, because there's, especially in Toronto, the city that I'm nearby, there's a lot of immigrant population, and they really need services. But anyway, it's a great place. They are designed to help parents of children from like birth to 6 years, and they do hold programs. So I just knew about them. So it did take me a while to write the email because I wanted to be sure to tell them exactly what I could do for them and what my credentials were and what I offered without going on forever. So I worked on that, and then the number was online, so I picked up the phone. I called the receptionist, asked who I should speak to, and got in touch with that person and just said, this is what I need. And by the way, Glenn, I must say that I kind of leveraged a little bit a sort of offer you sort of made, because I got on the phone and said, look, I have a potential for doing a big deal in September, and I need to do a run-through right now.
That was smart.
Thank you.
That was very smart. Yeah,
And it worked.
very cool.
So now I'm working on putting together the workshop, and it's really exciting for me because it's for me when I know I'm going to be doing something. Suddenly all the ideas that were kind of swirling around in a kind of amorphous mass suddenly gel, and I go, okay, here's what we're doing. And it's just really exciting time.
Action creates motivation. People wait until they feel motivated to act, but action actually creates motivation.
There you go.
That's terrific. How did you, when you spoke with the person who told you who you should get in touch with, how did you get in touch with the person who you needed to talk to?
I would call. Sometimes I left a message, and they would call me back. And sometimes.
What did you say in that message?
Oh, well, I was a little bit coy there. I left my name and my phone number and asked them if they would please call me back.
That's fair. There's no law that says you can't do that.
Well, that's what I did, and they called
That's
me
very
back,
smart.
and I just, in my first sentence, I told them exactly what the situation was, and then didn't say anything more.
How come you didn't say anything more?
Oh, well, to give them a chance to absorb and reply. I mean, the one thing that, you know, when I get excited, I will just burble on. So I just told them what it is I needed, what it is I could offer them, asked them if they were interested, and then stopped talking.
And the response was?
It was generally very positive. Now, one area did tell me that they're aligned with a different kind of parenting program, and they're exclusive to that, but I wouldn't call that negative. But generally the response was, yes, we're interested, and send us some info, which I had ready to go, so I did.
Laura, how did you get the nerve to do this? You pick up the phone and call these places, and did you have any reluctance?
I've been thinking of doing it for a long time, but I got the nerve by needing to get some audio clips. So you had mentioned that the next step for me was to get some audio clips, and the way to do that was to get out in front of people. So nervous kind of went out the window because I was going to do it, nervous or not, so I just decided not to be nervous.
A fabulous story. That's terrific. That's terrific. Thanks, Laura.
And thanks for your help.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, if anybody has any questions about anything we talked about today or anything else with regards to joint ventures, this would be the time to raise your hand and ask. And otherwise, Yoav, is there any parting thoughts?
No, I think we had a very good session.
Okay. Okay, well, stay safe over in Israel, and we will talk to everyone in, I guess, a month. Talk to you in August, which will be somewhere around my 50th birthday. We'll be talking to an old man then, so I'll talk to you all then. Bye-bye.
Bye then.